This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And welcome to the weekly news that we give you every single week. Every single week. Twitch, we stream this thing live. If you're not on Twitch, we got you on YouTube, TWIOCH. You can also tweet to us at TWIOCH. And we're on Facebook, TWIOCH.
Right.
We're TWIOCH everywhere.
We're TWIOCH Gaming on Twitch. Because TWIOCH was apparently taken by someone who's not doing anything.
It never logs in.
Yeah.
They never do anything.
And they never respond to our requests to maybe switch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we'd switch with them.
So we have news this week.
We do.
And this is episode 51. So we are 1 week. Next week, we will have been doing this stupid thing for a year. And that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us the whole time.
Yeah. And we're also bringing back the topic of the week.
Yes.
So this week we're going to talk at the end of the show and then as a breakout on YouTube about soundtracks.
Yes.
Video game soundtracks. The best and the ones that really stick with us. And I'm sure that's something that you have something to say about. So send a tweet at us, hit us up on Facebook, in the Twitch chat, wherever.
Yeah, we'll talk soundtracks with you.
Yeah, we'll put out whatever soundtracks.
We like some soundtracks.
So the first thing we have is backwards compatibility, and we don't get to make any jokes this week.
Aww.
We have Call of Duty 2 and Joust.
We do. Both great games in their own respects. Should have been playing.
Yeah, these things happen.
Yeah, Call of Duty was, in my opinion, probably one of the most not the most prominent. I'd say Black Ops kind of threw it into another realm, but
and Modern Warfare too.
Yes,
but this is kind of it's kind of a. I mean, not to belabor the point, but it's a history thing. It's a history thing, and it's a video games history thing, and it's definitely something that was special for people back then.
I agree.
And then we also have Joust, which is just classic, where you're riding the ostriches.
I'd assume it's an ostrich.
For the eggs. And the phoenix and the lava and the lava monsters and
around.
All that kind of stuff.
This is the Xbox One version, it's obviously, or the Xbox 360 version.
Yeah.
It's now backwards compatible on Xbox One. So slightly updated graphics from the Atari version, but really it's not.
Why? Yeah. There's no point. I know that's an ostrich. Those 7 pixels, clearly it's an ostrich.
Clearly.
So the internet got angry this week. Yeah. Because PlayStation bumped the PlayStation Plus prices up for the first time since they launched the service back in 2010. And I just have a brief message for the internet. Stop. Calm down.
Yeah.
You're spending an extra
$5? Is it $5?
Well, it's $10 for a 12-month period.
Yeah.
$10 less than $10. Or less than
$1 per month.
Yeah. That's, come on. And I mean, if you're paying the full price, you're doing it wrong anyway. If you follow at Kenja Deals or follow us on Twitter, and I'll retweet the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can usually pick that up for $40, $45.
Yeah.
If you just keep an eye out for it, and I usually buy 2 years at a time, and then I just don't worry about it. And I think I'm set until 2020 or something.
I'm set until 2018.
Yeah.
It's once because I accidentally bought another one and I didn't realize that I already had it.
These things happen.
It was on sale.
They bumped the price up and they were market values and stuff. But one of the big things to remember, and this is something that is especially pertinent to me since I've been doing the PlayStation 3, is going back to that network when it was free is not fun.
No.
And Xbox has always charged you for their service, whatever.
Yeah.
And Xbox's services have consistently been better because they use that money to build an infrastructure. And that's what PlayStation has done. And so to bump it up 10 prices after 6 years, not a big deal.
It's not bad. The only people who I've seen are laughing hardcore about this is PC gamers, because PC gaming's free.
Yeah.
Or not the gaming itself.
Well, yeah,
if you're
but
doing
like
that,
the online bits.
The online bit is free because they use the actual developer or publisher servers as opposed to Xbox and PS and PlayStation, which some of which use the servers of PlayStation and Xbox, and some of them use the developer servers. Yeah. And if they hit the developer servers, then I'm like, okay, then we shouldn't have to pay for it. But yeah, I get it.
But I mean, this also maintains like the store and the chat and like all these other services that we use that we don't really think about.
Yeah.
But they're there, and this helps maintain that. So, moving on. If you have a PlayStation 3 right now, you should absolutely go spend, was it like $15
I'm about to refresh on this just so we can get that.
So the basic story is that Capcom has a console bundle, which is the first time that this has happened in my memory, and it's pretty exciting. So Capcom is doing their own little bundle. It has a bunch of Resident Evil games. It has some Battlefield it's not Battlefield. It's like something battle of the Battlefield things. Some Resident Evil games. You can get 45% off of Street Fighter, and then there's just a bunch of and then there's Remember Me, so that you can play that and not have to. Yep. So right now, what are we looking at for the average?
So the average is, let's look at the 13s. Where is this?
Anyway, so the average is less than $15.
Yes.
And so if you spend $15,
average is 12.
Yeah, you get all of the games, which is a pretty good collection of games. And I'm interested in this mostly because if they had a Vita bundle, it wouldn't matter if I owned all the games on there. I would still buy it in hopes of another one.
Yeah.
And with this, they'll probably throw in, eventually get up to the Xbox One and the PS4 and the consoles that we mostly play.
Cool. Yeah.
And so if this works,
and there are a handful of PS4 ones on here. Strider is on here. You can also, if you're beating the Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil, which is the remake thing, that you can choose PS4 if you want. Most of them are PS3, but totally worth it to grab the $15 and get 15 games. So completely worth it. Got some more PlayStation news though.
We do.
Yeah, so we got some two-step verification, which Microsoft has been doing for a while.
8 years after the great PSN outage, we have two-step verification, which do that. There's that makes you more secure.
Yes.
It keeps things going and keeps stuff up and active and protects you. So
for those of you who don't know, the two-step would be you log in with your PlayStation, or you log in with your on your PC.
If you use a banking app, it's that thing.
It's very similar to banking apps, where you have to then go onto your app on your mobile device. So
copy and paste a text message and numbers and things, and basically it keeps people from being able to access that without also having a device that you have, which is good. Right now, they have Forza 6 preview for Gold members. And so Forza 6 is coming out September, I want to say 25th, I think. And so they're just kind of giving you a chance to play the entire game this weekend, which is kind of weird for me because, like, with a driving game, a weekend is about all I need.
The weekend is all you need to really get into it. Yeah.
Like, I might buy these, but see, then again, I am also not the audience for this because I might buy it on sale someday at $10 or play it when it's free on Plus or Gold Plus. But
the Forza games are great and everything, but I mean, where it's at, I mean, the obviously the 60 frames per second at 1080 is just amazing.
Yeah,
but the lighting in these games is just phenomenal. And there's some cool night shots there. The multiplayer is where most people spend their time with this, which is why I think I don't dig it, because if we're talking about like a Mario Kart style game, then I'm totally down with that. I like
this is precision driving.
Yes, I like the hyperbole. I like the just ridiculous stuff to happen. I don't care if
I like Cruis'n USA and the Rush 24, like the crazy arcade.
Yeah,
cars don't do that. That's not how cars work.
It isn't.
If at any point you can say that while you're playing, that's probably a driving game I'm more interested in. But if Forza 6 and precision driving is your thing, or you think it might be your thing, check it out for free.
Check it out. I'm going to jump ahead slightly in this because we were talking about racing games, and I feel like this just really fits it. Just as
Okay.
For some reason, this isn't sorted correctly, but like we mentioned before, I'm not a fan of, or I love the more arcadey games where like Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, all that kind of stuff is just fantastic. So when I get a chance to do that, play something like that, I get really excited. And I'm not going to get to play this game.
Yeah.
Epic Disney Racers, which
I would play the crap. I love that the crazy doctor guy.
Yes.
That dude is awesome.
Yes.
So some information came out this week, and this is one of the few times that I've ever seen news like this come out of a source any other than Unseen64.
Yeah.
Like usually this is kind of their thing. But we got some news from Destructoid this week about Epic Disney Racers and just various franchises that were kind of going down. Like there was going to be an Epic Donald game and like all this different stuff. Apparently when Epic Mickey 2 did so poorly, they kind of scrapped the whole thing. But like honestly, the Racer is the one that I'm most upset about losing.
Yes.
Because that could have been awesome.
Yeah.
And it does have the Nintendo advantage of recognizable characters and familiars and favorites and all that kind of stuff. And that, why wouldn't you?
There's no reason not to have this franchise to have them as a kart racer. They're ridiculous, over the top cartoon. You could have all kinds of crazy things happen, and it lends itself to the Disney cartoon. And if you guys haven't seen like the more modern Mickey cartoons, are friggin' hilarious.
Yeah.
So I think it would work really well, but we're not going to see it. I didn't think Epic Mickey 2 was that great, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It didn't deserve the hate that it got. But so that's something we'll never see. Sad Panda.
But what we will see in 2 weeks?
A week and a half.
Yeah.
Week and a half.
There's going to be a PlayStation event on September 7th. And so there's possibility that this will be the Neo or the Slim or whatever. And one of the things that makes me think that they're going to do something similar to what Xbox did, because I gave Microsoft some crap whenever they did this. They said, hey, this thing is coming out later, and then this thing is coming out sooner, and I didn't know why anyone would buy it. But the thing is that I see this as an opportunity where I think the main problem that they had is that they said, this way cool thing is coming out later, this kind of cool thing is coming out soon.
Yeah.
And so if we had, I think it was 2 leaks of the PS4 Slim.
Yes.
Which looks a little bit different, and
someone has booted it up. I can't remember who it was. Was it Eurogamer?
Yes.
Eurogamer went to this person's house, booted it up,
and
verified.
Like, hey,
it's a PlayStation.
It's a thing.
Yeah. So I don't like the look is kind of more rounded. It's still the same kind of similar rhombus shape.
Yes.
Yeah. Similar to that, but without the sharp edges, so it's rounded off. Because I don't know, small children maybe. I don't know.
But I mean, this is a thing, like because it's they do redesigns of various consoles. IGN had a really fun article last week about various console redesigns, like the best ones, basically, and then the stupid ones, like the Super Nintendo, like the second model of the Super Nintendo that looks almost the same but doesn't have an eject button and looks weird.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
And then you have like the great ones, like the Nintendo Top Loader, which is phenomenal. That one is excellent. Anyway, but that
one's excellent because it got rid of the pen problem that the toaster one has.
Yep.
The toaster oven. One has,
And so the other thing about it is that they're able to kind of reduce costs and do this more economically.
Exactly. So more than likely we're going to get the Slim because it's pretty much leaked. We'll hear about the Neo. That was what we assume is going to be announced at that point.
Right.
If they hit the rumored November or so release date.
So when do you think that the Neo is coming out?
I think I gave an October prediction before.
For this year?
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
You don't think so?
I don't think that they will release the Neo at the same time as they release the VR. I think that's too much hardware investment to ask of you.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I think it's exactly what they're going to do.
Okay, so you think it's going to launch together?
They might not launch. Well, they'll launch within this year. Together, yeah.
Okay.
The reasoning behind it is there are rumors that the VR runs better on the Neo, and I don't think they want to. I think they want to tout that in a very subtle way. I think they want to.
If you're going for VR, this is probably a better one for you.
Yeah, this will run a little smoother if they mention it at all. If not, every single time that they show VR stuff will be on the Neo. So like, hey, here's the PlayStation VR, da-da-da. This footage is from the Neo. Okay. Every single time, because that will drill it in, to your subconscious that, wow, Neo runs really well.
VR. Yeah.
I think that's what they're going to do. Okay. But we also, in addition to that, we got which was a leak, and now it's pretty much confirmed. The PlayStation Now service is coming to PC.
Yes, and an official wireless PS4 support. Yes, and that is awesome. Yes. That makes me very happy. PlayStation Now, like they keep releasing games. I'm not telling you about it because I don't think anybody cares. But bringing that library to PC. Is wonderful.
Yeah, there's a lot of God of War games and different things that never came on PC.
Demon's Souls,
yeah,
and then other stuff.
Is that on PlayStation Now? Because that'd be real. If it is,
it's
great. It needs to be.
If it's not, that's terrible. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, and I'm really looking forward to PlayStation Now being able to just put it out there and just being able to be there and just release those games to a wider audience.
Yeah.
As far as we can tell, Demon's Souls is not on there.
Yes. Yeah.
That's bad. Fix that. Fix it.
Come on. That game needs to be on there. Dark Souls is great, but Demon's Souls is just...
Well, Dark Souls is already
beautiful.
On PC. Yeah. So, yeah. And so, but like you were saying, God of War and like the Uncharted,
the Uncharted series,
Last of Us,
yeah. There's a lot of great games.
There are a lot of games that are kind of already out there, but this service makes a lot more sense on a PC because then you don't have to have the hardware to do other things with.
Exactly.
So that's very exciting to me, and I'm looking forward to being able to bug Tyson about playing different games that he hasn't played yet.
Yes.
So
that's your backlog has just gotten larger.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Sombra ARG continues, and people are not excited. Okay, so Sombra is the next to be revealed character, which, as far as I know, I've been trying to keep up with this. It's still not officially revealed, even though we all know who it is. Yeah, because like they had this ARG where they were like going through different things, and there were like Twitter accounts that would pop up, and you would need to hack those and gain control of them.
I didn't hear about the hacking Twitter accounts
to get to like this other thing, and then like this YouTube account popped up.
Yep.
And it's been a fun little journey through all this stuff. And then eventually they got to what looked like a glitched post.
Yes.
In the thread about that had a countdown. Mm-hmm. And when the countdown got to 5%, it stopped.
Yeah.
So people were really excited because it was going to be like I think it was like Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning or something. They're like, okay, this is when that thing's happening, and everybody goes, yay, we beat the thing.
Yeah.
And then it just stops at 5% and just does not move.
And everyone thought it was going to be August 23rd, but it was released because it's a 23rd character.
Yeah.
There's
like a lot of it made sense.
Yeah.
And they so now if you go into that Reddit thread, it is just a lot of people saying, we did it. We did the things you wanted. Yeah. This was very clearly a setup, and we got to this point. We did this. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like people are just dropping out, and they don't want to play anymore.
I didn't see the name of the character. I saw a fake name, because the name that popped up was Jana something, which is the Polish version of Jane Doe. and that was the only name that I found.
Yeah.
And I don't know if did they release another name as well.
They did not. No.
Okay.
But
because
it's a lore thing, which I'm starting to explore that. Shout out to Jake the Snake, and he's been kind of inducting me into that.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more fun than I thought it was, because like I know that Blizzard has great characters, but I've never seen them do this kind of back end on this stuff.
Blizzard's lore is always great because they take the time to chart out things you wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, they flesh out the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Pokemon Go.
Yep. Yeah, we're talking about Pokemon Go again.
But we're not talking about it every week. But this week we are.
Yes.
All right. So Pokemon Go now has like the trainers actually do something. So they come out and that's trailer, not trainer.
No.
And so they come out and they say, "Wow, your Pokemon, that's pretty cool." Or they're like, "Wow, your Pokemon is wonderful." Mm-hmm. And so I've been junking Pokemon that aren't wonderful, because if they're not wonderful, I don't know why I have them. So that's been kind of a fun experiment.
Yeah.
And get to know a little bit more about what's behind it, because you could cheat and find out a lot of these stats. Mm-hmm. Well, you could find out the exact stats, but they've been actively blocking that stuff, and they've been looking to replace it with something in game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which
just let me find the Pokemon.
Yeah, let me go out
fix
and track
that
them.
part.
Yeah, let me go out and track them
until that
physically. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
If I go out to a park or if I go out wherever and it goes, "Oh, there's a Clefairy around here." I want to know how close is it? Mm-hmm. Where, then you play, because when it first came out, that game of Hot and Cold worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it had us running around like bozos, but we would go that way and then go, "Nope, turn around, that way, nope, that way."
And we're getting steps, I guess. But yeah, like the other day I saw a blacked out one, because I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
If I haven't found it yet, I don't know what it is.
Because you didn't watch the show.
Or play the games.
Well, because the show literally pops up with on the TV show.
Okay.
Before your commercial break, it'll pop up with a shadow, with just the outline, and it'll say, "Who's that Pokemon?" And then when it comes back,
and then you figure it out during the commercial,
and
then it shows that.
Yeah,
that's
and
cool.
it'll go, "It's Bulbasaur," and it's always a Pokemon that they're talking about in the show.
Right, that makes sense.
It teaches you them.
All right. So it was some big giant guy that I hadn't found yet. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I started walking in one direction, and shout out to One Direction.
Yeah.
And it moved up in my rankings, and then disappeared.
Yeah.
And then I went back, and it was gone.
It was gone, yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Well,
and
there also is the refresh where
every once in a while
they will just go away. Which I would like it to be. And yeah, this adds to the difficulty. Give me that game of Hot and Cold, but have that Pokemon actually moving around. So that way I'm going around and I'm like, why isn't it here? Oh, did it go that way? Oh, it's moved. That'd be cool. Yeah, you spend an hour hunting it, but at least I'll get what I want as opposed to random stuff. So
there are several solutions, none of which have been implemented.
Nope.
So last week, Inside came out on PlayStation, which was one of the big Xbox One deals. This September, The Witness, which was a big PlayStation indie special game, is coming to Xbox.
Yes, and
I am very happy for Xbox puzzly people. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna play it because it's puzzles, but like people who are enjoying this type of around and figuring out things. This is apparently like one of the best puzzle games ever released, and I am really excited that people will get to play it on Xbox One. People that weren't able to play it, and you will be able to get your lasers. It
reminds me of a very hyper colored Mist, and I know that's kind of what they were going for, and it kind of makes me happy, and I want to play this game. I think Christian was giving me crap about not playing it already because it's supposed to be really good, and puzzle games aren't necessarily my thing, but I can enjoy them.
Well, the other thing that I like it conceptually.
Sure.
But I know that I would get frustrated really quick, and so.
Well, and it would kind of defeat the purpose. You could play through it with a guide. Now that would defeat the purpose of the puzzle thing, but at least you could get the idea of. And I don't normally condone playing something through with a guide like that, but at least you could get the idea of, oh, that's a neat puzzle. I see how that was, and then get the story bit of it. Do you have to sit there with a guide?
Yeah.
You're still not playing it.
Anyway. So our next little bit of news, Sleeping Dogs 2 is not coming.
Yeah.
We got a little bit more word on what that team is working on, and it is not Sleeping Dogs 2. Why is it not Sleeping Dogs 2? Why aren't they giving me Sleeping Dogs 2?
Yeah, because instead...
That game was so good.
It was. And instead we get Smash and Grab. Which I actually have not seen the trailer for this. This is actually my first time seeing it. I assume that it's a game where you run around and you loot stuff, and apparently graffiti is involved.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so they have like different gangs that make it rain. I don't know. Different gangs making it rain.
No, I
okay, yeah. So it is. You have different gangs. You smash through things. You steal the money,
and then you grab them.
And then you try to fight other gangs. I'm assuming you fight the police as well. A little bit of ultra violence there. I mean, I would rather have Sleeping Dogs 2. I would much rather have Sleeping Dogs 2. Sleeping Dogs was a sleeping hit, if you will.
No, I won't.
No, you won't. Okay.
No. It was a game that more people should have played.
Yes, it was very fun.
And like there are a lot of open world titles right now. And Yakuza is another game that kind of takes that and puts it into and puts the sandbox thing into another culture.
Yes.
And that was one of the big things about Sleeping Dogs, is that it had a lot of the culture. And as someone who watches a lot of anime, who really enjoys subtitles.
I don't mind them.
Subtitles are fine. But yeah, as somebody who enjoys that stuff and enjoys the culture, it was really fun to get to see, because Sleeping Dogs is China, and Yakuza is obviously Japan.
Japan, yeah.
And so the subtle differences between the two of them that might not be, I mean, I don't know if most people don't notice them, but it's fun for me to get to explore another culture.
Yes. And
Chinese culture honestly is underrepresented in games.
Agreed.
And I'm really disappointed that they're not making another one.
Yeah. I think that, at least I have hope, that China will be more represented, because some of the laws are kind of changing in regards to video games in China. And that's such a big market. That's why a lot of movies recently have been centering around China, or they've had Chinese characters pop up. The reasoning behind it is because that market's opening up for movies. It's a specific amount of movies. I don't know if you know about this. It's like 12 or 15 movies per year that Hollywood can release in China.
Who chooses?
The Chinese government, I think.
So there's somebody whose job it is to just sit down and watch all the movies to figure out.
I don't even think they watch them. I think they're told they find beforehand which movies to release, which movies not to, because they release. Some of them release 2 weeks before they release here. Yeah, because that's such a huge market. That's the reason that Avengers: Age of Ultron had the huge China and they released early in China.
Yep,
for that reason.
Captain America showed up somewhere else first.
Yes, that's the reason. Is because it's you have 1.7 billion people. It's like that in India. It's like the biggest populations, and you only have this many.
And it's baffling to me how, because like we in America. We get our culture, we get Japanese culture, we get European culture, but those two massive, and then Africa, this massive section with all these different cultures and all these different,
and we get nothing.
And like India, China, Russia gets quasi-represented, because usually it's like a stereotypical thing that has existed since the 80s.
It gets represented just
in
as
a
much
Cold
as like
War
Mexico
type of way.
does.
Yeah,
it's like Mexico gets represented. But like Spain never doesn't get represented at all.
Yeah,
and if you get Europe, it's Germany or it's England,
France,
maybe France.
Yeah,
and that's it. Nothing from Norway. Unless you're playing a game made in Norway or Poland.
Poland.
Shout out to Poland.
So anyway, rant aside, hopefully someday we'll get a Sleeping Dogs 2, but it's not going to be anytime soon, and that's unfortunate.
It really is.
So,
but what we are going to get soon,
yes, October 25th,
is some Dark Souls. So the trailer actually released. I have not seen it.
Really?
I have not seen it, so this is my first time watching it.
Oh my goodness!
Right
yes,
now.
yes,
So
we're going to watch this together.
Here's our live reactions to the Dark Souls 3.
Can we do sound or not? Here, you tell me what you see.
Can't really do sound. So it's snowy, and that's good. So we haven't really had any a lot of snow in the Dark Souls stuff for Dark Souls 3. So immediately I assume this is like some other continent maybe, or some other type of land, because we have all these different lands that converge.
Right.
So an altar there, and who is that?
I have my theories.
Okay.
And she was whipping herself.
Yes, she was. Okay, someone praying.
Okay, you suck at commentary. Okay, so
this
guy is listed as the painter.
The painter, okay.
Yes, which is super exciting because the painted world.
Yes.
We're probably going back to the painted world, and we will keep going because there's like all kinds of there's enemies and yes. And initially we thought it was going to be a lot of PvP, but there are absolutely new areas, and I don't know what these bug corpse eater guys, but like
I love that.
Yes,
I love this thing.
And that guy, that's gonna kill you
like
so hard.
Elk man. Some cool new magic.
Yeah, we get a boomerang frisbee. We get to breathe fire.
Breathe
we get
fire.
new pyro.
I love that.
Okay,
that new pyromancy
yes,
is cool.
Also, it's also special because it highlighted a new miracle.
This is the painter here.
No, he's offering a piece of the painting, But yeah, that's how we'll probably transport in the painted world. Okay, Lord Soul.
Yep.
Filling with blood. And then some old boss fights. I'm not looking forward to that fight.
No, I'm not either. That looked like what's his face?
Yeah.
Okay, that just looks beautiful.
And then
ridiculous discretion.
Fighting with a Lord Soul. Yes. Oh, it's
yeah. I'm.
It's so exciting.
That looks pretty amazing.
Yeah. But
very
anyway,
different.
What I was saying is that it highlights the flinging out and coming back, very clearly a miracle.
Yeah.
The fire breathing, obviously a pyromancy.
Absolutely love that.
And then the ice thing is a sorcery. So they highlighted all three classes of magic.
That's cool.
And that's exciting.
I like the fire breathing. I'm surprised that hasn't shown up yet, because Dark Souls is so it is magic, but as much as magic can be realistic, they like to have it more grounded.
Yeah.
So it just makes perfect sense to breathe fires. Take your embers. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Happy.
So there's stuff all over the internet as far as like assessments of things.
IGN had a really good breakdown.
Yes,
which people kept posting, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, Chloe Rad is
Okay.
their Dark Souls 3 specialist, and she is very knowledgeable, and she was just able the rewind theater on that trailer is really good. But yeah, we think that the self whipping might be Velka.
Okay.
And that would be really exciting. The goddess of sin.
Yeah.
Whom we have never seen. We've only seen statues of her.
That would be interesting
Throughout the series.
That's
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be fun.
But the important thing is it's not just PvP.
It's not
because
PvP, yeah.
we thought it might be, and I was bummed because I just don't want to go on and just be killed by a bunch of people. That's not fun for me. And as much as I like force pushing people off cliffs, that's not why I'm here.
That makes me want to play a caster, because I didn't get to do that.
Oh, it's so fun because
Yeah.
like there's 3 levels of like there's the first, like, you create a little bubble and that'll kind of protect you and deflect projectiles. Deflecting projectiles is really hard, but totally worth it. And then there's a second one where you just kind of do a channel out.
Okay.
And then the third one is a bigger bubble
AoE.
that does a lot more force.
So if you channel out, if you're targeting them and channel out, you can push them off of a ledge. That's cool.
That's what I typically do is try to hang out near ledge. dodge whatever attack it is, because that one casts fairly quickly.
Okay.
And even if I get a backstab in, it's probably only going to take off a fifth of their health.
Yeah.
And then, if they hit me, I die. So I get this one shot at glory.
They've really made melee the focus for Dark Souls PvP. And and as great as the casting can be PvE, PvP, it's all about melee. It's just quicker. Yep. I've been able to hold my own mostly when I get invaded. Mm-hmm. And it always ends up both of us just hacking, someone getting away and downing Estus, and it's a game of attrition to see, basically who runs out of Estus, and then the other person just wipes them.
Yeah.
Or I kick him off a ledge. Either way.
Kicking off ledges is fun.
Oh yeah.
So that's coming, and also coming, ToeJam and Earl, which is being published by Adult Swim Games, which is exciting. Okay, so you were a Genesis kid. Did you play?
I played
ToeJam and Earl?
I played ToeJam and Earl.
Yeah, ToeJam and Earl is awesome and stupid, and yeah, it's pretty wonderful. And this very much seems to get the idea of the original games.
Yeah.
And
it is so early 90s, and I love it. Just the ridiculous just that animation looks so much like some of the stuff that we got in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And you gotta be super cool. The backwards hat and the boombox rocking out. Yeah, it's so cool.
See, and whenever they announce this, I always hear in my head, Big Earl. That's just fun. And they retweeted it. That was fun.
That's fun.
Adult Swim Games retweeted it. And that makes me happy. Things that don't make me happy. Okay, we're gonna have a little section right here, and go ahead and pull this out as a separate thing. Final Fantasy 15. They're messing it up, and they need to stop.
So, I may be slightly contrarian on this.
Oh, good.
Because there's one thing that I will agree with you on, but go ahead and rant, and then I will...
Okay, is it the fact that when you buy the $270 special edition, it doesn't come with DLC?
Yep.
Is that a problem for you?
That's my problem.
Okay.
Because the rest of that set looks really good.
Yes.
There's a 187-page, art...
Yeah,
hard
I want a lot of the stuff that is in the collector edition, but if you get the... What is it called? The Ultimate Collector's Edition.
Yeah.
You don't get all of the game. Yes, this stuff is cool, but I need to get all of the game that's coming out.
You should at least get the season pass.
The first, yeah.
So that's the big uproar that people are having, is that the season pass is not going to contain... There's going to be some additional DLC afterwards that is not going to be contained within the season pass.
Right. My biggest issue with this, you still haven't released the game. There's a really good interview with Neil Druckmann.
Yes.
When he was working on Uncharted 4, and he was like, and various people were asking, they're like, okay, so what are we looking at for DLC on this one? He's like, we're working on the game.
Yeah.
When we finish the game, we'll figure out what we want to do with DLC. See what people like. See what it is that we want to continue.
Sure.
But we're going to finish this game, then we'll figure out all this stuff.
Yeah.
And their focus has shifted from, hey, let's make a game for people, to, okay, let's figure out what various tiers people are going to be at. And I'm sure this is a really important part of the story, but God, this looks boring.
Well, I'm
so boring.
Well, they're pushing the car, and you get some story while that's happening. Is what I'm assuming, and maybe you try to flag someone down. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Now, I will contrast this because some people are like, "Well, Telltale games and da 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 da." No. Telltale's a completely different model. That is a sales model of saying, I've seen people on the internet essentially say, well, no one has a problem with Telltale coming out with this episode and this episode. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. That's the whole point. And in Telltale, I can buy a season pass, I get everything, and I don't pay for a game and a season pass. It's a different business model. Now,
well, and it's also designed to be episodic, and they do actually change the game based on feedback that they get.
Yes.
And they plug it into their broken engine and they release it.
And in this case... there are some of the DLC. Obviously, there are multiple sections we don't really know a lot about, but there are 3 that are specifically for your companions. They're labeled as your companions. We're assuming that what those are is that will be a more in-depth look at that character. That will be an in-depth look at your connection to that person, why they matter.
Which is kind of what they're doing with Brotherhood. Have you gotten to?
I haven't. I know that's what they're doing with it. So I think it may be another way to do it.
Like I'm really getting into these characters.
Yeah.
Because before it's just, hey, you've got all these things going on and what have you, but yeah, just having the characters and being able to look at them and figure out, okay, this is who this person is. This is who they are to not.
Yes.
And yeah, that's definitely a positive. And figuring out, because now I know who Ignis is. I know who he was before he encountered.
Yeah.
And I know his story. I know their story. I understand this dynamic, and it does make me more excited to see them interact and go on this adventure together.
I think that will help give you that backstory. What I'm hoping is that that DLC portion is kind of like the Mass Effect 2 DLC. There were 2 bits of DLC that gave you an extra. They gave you an extra character. And then they also gave you the story, not only of how you pick them up, but a loyalty mission. In Mass Effect, you haven't played Mass Effect,
right?
So Mass Effect,
I will someday.
So you have you gather your crew to help the universe, blah blah blah. But also each character that you grab has a loyalty mission that's 3-4 hours or so, going off and helping them in a personal thing.
Varmints of the Wastelands.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the ability to explore the characters and find out more about them. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big thing is that their focus has shifted.
Yeah.
To already start nickeling and diming us before we can do anything, and then the Ultimate Collector's Edition.
Yeah.
Like you're not reaching out to the people who are most excited and most invested, because you're gonna buy it regardless.
Yeah,
that's just your thing. I'm a little bit more reserved, and I want to see what it is that I'm getting into before I pick it up.
Well, I'll probably, if it's everything that I'm seeing on it and what I played of the demo, I will more than likely enjoy the gameplay and the story. It's just a question of how much I'll enjoy it. I'm hoping that Whitney will enjoy it because the gameplay is so much like Kingdom Hearts that I think she'll enjoy it as well. I think that what we're seeing here, it's a systemic problem with AAA games. It's not just Square. It's a systemic problem with AAA games where most publishers expect that the developer makes a game and DLC. And a season pass, hopefully.
A season pass that is the DLC.
Yeah.
And I mean that's what the Souls games have done. And I will happily continue to buy all of that DLC. I bought the DLC for Dark Souls 2. I bought the DLC for Bloodborne, and I will buy the DLC for Dark Souls 3. And I might even play this one. But I am so willing to throw money at them to give me more single player content.
Yeah. And that's because of what they've shown you in the past.
Yes.
And Square hasn't done that with Final Fantasy 13. I think they left a lot of bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah.
So.
And
I will buy it. I'll let you know what all about it. I'm excited, and I'm curious about the other DLC packs within the season pass. But I am very excited about the specific parts that have to deal with the characters in there and how hopefully they will integrate within the regular main story.
Yeah. So or it could be like prequels. I can see that, like an opening story of what happened to them in the 3 months before the story starts, because that seems to be one of their big focuses.
I think that Brotherhood already does that though, so they might.
The Brotherhood does, but I don't get to play it, and also the Brotherhood reaches way farther back.
Okay.
Because we meet Ignis when he's like a kid that doesn't even know the prince.
Okay.
And he's just like, hey, the prince is cool. I wish we could be friends. And it's adorable, and he's my new favorite.
Nice.
So yeah. So that's the Final Fantasy 15 news for this week and our perspective.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you think differently about any of that, or tweet at us all your hate tweets.
Or I mean, we had two different perspectives, so you can yell at one of us.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it's fun. So we already covered the Ultimate Edition. That was my problem with it. Is that should have the season pass with it. Anyways.
Yeah.
So there is a countdown, another countdown.
Oh, the last bit of Final Fantasy 15 gripe. We didn't cover all the 15 griping.
We didn't.
Okay, so interview with the director. He said that the first half of Final Fantasy 15 is open world, and then in quote traditional Final Fantasy progression, it narrows down to the story. That's not traditional Final Fantasy progression. You start off with the story.
Yeah.
You get the airship. and then you go and explore,
you go wherever.
And then when you decide, then you hit the story and come back out and go back, like go in and progress as you see fit. But if his idea is that traditional Final Fantasy progression is open world, then tunneled into a story, and I'm using tunnel specifically because of that bloody corridor in 13.
What I'm hoping is that that's the last section of the game,
the last disc.
Yeah. Which I can
I hope so, but he said his words were half, the first half of the game and the last half of the game, and that's concerning.
It's odd. Unless it works for the story. Story is king. If it works for the story, okay. If it's open and then all of a sudden there's a reason why it's tunneled.
Well, I'm sure there will be a story explanation.
But that is kind of weird, traditional, because it's not tradition for Final Fantasy.
And hence my concern.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the Final Fantasy 15 bit.
Yeah, we got another countdown though. We mentioned that other countdown referring to the augmented the
ARG.
The ARG thing.
Yeah.
But we also got
a countdown to Duke something.
Yep. So the countdown's going on right now. I tried to screen capped this. It's not letting me capture the website right now. But that countdown is moving right now, counting down to 20th anniversary of Duke Nukem.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are assuming that what's going to happen is you're going to get a remaster of some Duke Nukem games.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. I'm putting my money on they're going to show the remaster.
Okay.
And they're also going to show the Duke Nukem game that's been being worked on by Gearbox.
No, it's just a Duke Nukem remaster, and here's your 90s guy. Bye.
They're working on it.
That's
well, they're working on Duke, and I think this would be a good time to show a little bit.
I'm not sure there's.
You don't think they're going to do it?
Time. No.
What? There's always a good time for Duke.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Oh.
Burn.
Yeah. So.
Good time for Titans.
Yeah,
it's right now.
Very good time for Titans.
This is the second weekend of the Titan. What are they calling it? The Titanfall Tech Test, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
the TTT.
TTT.
So TTs.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're working on that, and some of the things that they did from Titanfall 1 to 2 are less popular. And one of the things in particular is they wanted to put your Titan behind a kill streak. So basically, if you couldn't kill people without a Titan, then you don't get a Titan.
Yeah.
And people were not excited about that, because if you're not good, then you're going to continue to not be good and have less fun than the people who are good.
Yeah.
And that just seems like a bad way to sequester your people.
I agree. I think the better way to do this, and you can take my idea if you want, because I do not care. The better way to do it would be in the map, have a rotation of who spawns with a Titan.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, one Titan per side,
mm-hmm.
you also get Titan that's tied to your kill streak. So if you get a 20 kills or whatever it is, then you get a Titan. Yeah. That way, you have people who are doing better,
mm-hmm.
who can get Titans. But if someone keeps dying, after the third or fourth kill, third or fourth, fifth death, they spawn with a Titan as well. That way, people who aren't as good get to try it, get to play with one. They get to try it out because I will say one thing about Battlefront that with Star Wars Battlefront, when I first started playing, I was like, okay, all these people have jetpacks and they have this and they have that. But a week in, just playing and paying my dues, I already had a jetpack.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing that great. Now, if you do really, really well, you get a jetpack earlier.
Get it faster. Yeah.
Sure. But I have my jetpack now. Yeah. So I think they need to make sure that they have a way for these other players to get a Titan in those multiplayer maps.
They are actually... allegedly, I'm going to play it this afternoon. I haven't gotten to play it yet. But apparently they are doing something like that, where with a kill streak or various other things, you can kind of boost your timer, but it is a solid timer, and when the timer counts down to the end, you get a Titan.
Okay.
And so yeah, I will get to be in a Titan.
Yay.
And
is that your first time in a Titan?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because
they're fun. Because Xbox.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Dear Esther is kind of one of the earlier quote unquote walking simulators that came out. But it is a really special story that has been available on PC for quite some time, and not so much on console.
Yes.
So they have announced this week, not this week, but they announced this week that Dear Esther is coming to consoles soon.
Yes.
So within the next, I think, 6 weeks, they said, we should be able to kind of explore this world and find out what's going on here. I tend to enjoy these games at least for a couple of hours. They tend to be lower in price, and Dear Esther in particular, the world itself looks especially nice because Everybody's Gone to the Rapture was like this little small town home, whatever. Gone Home is within a single building, a single home.
Sure.
And then Dear Esther is and I haven't played it yet, but it looks like the whole Scottish landscapes and like really scenic and beautiful, atmospheric.
It reminds me of a darker Firewatch.
Yeah.
Firewatch was really good. If you guys haven't played it, it's an interesting way. People keep talking about calling them walking simulators, but it's an interesting way to tell a story. Which I think is more grounded. It actually it works really well, and it grounds you as a character, and it makes things more impactful. The subtleties are more impactful because you're just a guy or a girl or whatever living their life and
going through these experiences. And for me, that's what allows me to really invest in a character. I like reading about characters. I like watching characters, but unless I'm playing, I am doing precisely that. I am removed and watching these characters.
Exactly.
Whereas with these type of games, I'm able to invest. I can enjoy it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you get to be that person for a little while.
Yeah, and Dear Esther is a game that's been coming for quite some time. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. One thing that I'm looking forward to more Destiny. Just reminded me of that, and the next story is about Destiny.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to what we're actually going to get for Destiny as like a Destiny 2 or whatever they're going to call it.
Yeah.
But we did have a really cool Drive Destiny live players
charity stream.
Yep, charity streamed $500,000 for St. Jude's.
Yes,
which is
that was
amazing.
That is really fantastic, and that community is a really special one. And it's really fun to get to see what they can do, and when gamers band together and bring something special out of it, that is because there's all those. I mean, and it talks about it in our intro feed where it's we're all just angry video game nerds, and this is video game nerds choosing to dedicate their time and their community and everything to helping each other.
Yeah.
And that's a really special thing, and $500,000 is amazing.
It's amazing, and it's a absolutely just one of the best causes as well. Because St. Jude's does they ask for no money from their patients, and they help children who have cancer and other health concerns where their parents can't get the help elsewhere. These are people. These are kids. They're they're completely innocent, and they've been thrown into this world with, some issues, and getting them on the
over
right
which
feet.
they had no
They
control.
have no control.
And, this was not. Yeah. Another thing that I really like about him is if you look him up, you can find out various like how a charity spends its money, and St. Jude's is one of those that has very low administration costs. So the vast majority of the money, not all of it, because you can't run a charity for free. Yeah, which is
you can't.
But
unfortunately.
but yeah, they spend so much of that money and put it forward to directly intervene where they can be helpful, and that's admirable.
Yeah, especially in the days of so many charities that are big name that give pennies on the dollar.
J. Coleman.
Yeah, pennies on the dollar to when you donate $50 to one of them, and they you literally gave them 75 cents.
Yeah, to actually help
ridiculous.
And research.
Give me an outlet where I can actually make a difference. If I'm gonna give my money, I want it to go where I assume it went. So it's fantastic.
So anyway, back to video games and less about this.
Yeah.
So the basically the voice of Rick.
Yeah.
He's got a VR studio.
Yeah.
And he's what is it? Squanchtendo is the name of it. Yeah. The Squanchtendo VR studio. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm going to play it, and it'll be so fun. And like it's fun to see, like they've got these little comic strips and they're like, hey, this is what's going on. And
I thought about putting them on there. I was going to put these up here, but it just took so much screen space.
It's like an actual So go check that out and look it up and have fun with it.
For some reason, I thought they were voiced by the same person. It's two different people that do
Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
no,
I thought it was the same person.
It is.
Oh, okay. You said the voice of Rick.
Right.
It's also the voice of
Morty.
Rick.
But when he's
confused.
announcing this, he's that's how I read it. I read that in Rick's.
Okay. Because I was like, I thought it was just the one guy.
Yeah. There's a mini episode, an improv episode where he switched back and forth between the two characters, and they had Summer there and like two of the producers. It's amazing. And then the other one is where he's reading the court transcript.
I absolutely love that one. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Like that's okay. Like I actually have a playlist of YouTube videos that I watch when I'm having a bad day. That is at the top of that list because it's so good.
And it's unbelievable that someone actually did that in court.
Yeah. That too.
That happens.
So the last of the regular news.
Sure.
Allison Road is a game that was kind of developed on the heels of PT and kind of in the same vein, because they're like, wow, Konami this is just never going to happen. So all of us want this to happen. So here's that. And so
we just disappeared.
These things happen. Don't worry about it. Don't question it.
Don't question it. Nothing.
That's the most important thing.
Nothing is real.
So Allison Road was we talked about this where it was canceled basically because they weren't able to get the funding that they needed. And Allison Road's development is back on track. They found a new publisher, and this is something that is continuing. I'm excited about that because this is a really fantastic thing, and it's something that people want, and it's something that's being done well.
Yes.
Because horror is a very difficult thing to do well, and they are nailing it because it's just shadows.
Yep.
But applied properly, a shadow can be the most terrifying thing ever. And they also seem to grasp something that I always attribute the master of this is Hitchcock.
Yeah.
But being able to imply fear and allow the person to infer it from their surroundings. And those are the scariest things, because the scariest thing in the world is in your mind.
Yeah.
And if a creator can draw that out and put it in your mind where it comes, And Allison Road's developers seem to be nailing that.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy.
And I'll agree that it's scarier. What your mind will put together and imagine is happening is more frightening than if you see it.
Absolutely.
Every single time.
And I mean, there's some really good examples of that. Like Signs is really scary up until you see the aliens, and then it's like,
that's that's dumb.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who doesn't mind aliens in movies. It ruined it. I think that the classic example would be Psycho. There is no shot of him stabbing her in the shower.
Yeah.
And my favorite example is from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Mm-hmm. Have you seen?
At one time,
there is a shot where Leatherface grabs a girl, picks her up, and puts her on a meat hook. And the shot is done where it shows him grabbing her and she's struggling. It shows that there's a meat hook there. And then it shows him just go. And every single person that I've talked to about this, unless we've been talking specifically about not being shown, if you just talk to someone who's seen the movie, and maybe it's been 5 or 10 years, they'll tell you, no, you can see the meat hook goes into her and there's all this blood. There's no blood. There's nothing. You can't see it come out the other end. Nothing.
Yeah, it's and that's.
But that when he does this and she stops, your brain immediately thinks, okay, that was the meat hook.
You process it.
Oh, yeah.
That's how horror is done.
Yeah. So
we do have the weird story of the week is Microsoft has announced in Australia the official Xbox One onesie.
Yes.
So here you go. If this was a thing that you wanted, I also love the setting. I know that there's an art to like setting up a piece of clothing, but what is happening here? What is she doing?
She's excited about whatever she was watching, and she spilled her popcorn. Why does she have a controller in her hand?
She doesn't. She has a remote.
Remote.
She's not even...
She's not... No, I get what they're saying, it's an entertainment thing, but why does she have a remote in her hand where, I don't sit and watch TV with a remote in my hand.
Yeah.
So I don't get that. We do have... I like how they've labeled this. If you look at this one here.
Yeah, you can see that they've labeled the pockets to tell you where to put things.
Yeah. This pocket...
Because that's a problem that I've always had.
Of course.
Is where do I put the things?
And he's showing you right there.
Right here. There. This is where my controller is.
The other one's for your phone, but this one's for your controller. Are they different sized pockets? Because it's just weird.
No, they seem to be identical, and
I don't get it. And the other thing is they're assuming that people want to wear onesies while they watch TV or play games. I know there's a community that does that. I don't.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know that I would go so far as to say community. There are people who do this. I don't think that there's like,
usually they're animal
meetup. Yeah.
Oh, there are. There are onesie meetups.
Have you seen the mermaid blanket?
Yes.
Courtney wants it.
That's kind of cool.
Because it has your feet and then it looks like you're a little mermaid just sitting on the couch.
That's I get that. But yeah, most of the onesies that I've seen, and I've seen people play video games on YouTube doing that, but I just assumed it was a YouTube thing, where they have like animal onesies. I don't know. Anyway, so that's all for the news this week. But we were talking about our topic of the week, which is video game soundtracks.
I'm gonna go ahead and you go ahead and start now, and I'll see what responses we've got.
So I'm gonna start. So the one that pops up, a lot of the Final Fantasy games have probably some of the best soundtracks ever. Final Fantasy VII has just some amazing music, and I think that it does a great job of transitioning into the CD quality sound and keeping a lot of the themes. Because as I'm playing Final Fantasy VI on Twitch, a lot of the themes are very similar to, if not
the battle
exactly
theme, the victory
same
theme, the crystal theme are iterations on the originals. Yeah.
And they did a great job transitioning that into that.
Yeah.
I think there are some phenomenal games that do a great job with not only with the soundtrack and the ambiance. I know Last of Us is maybe on your list, but one that I really enjoyed because it's almost like watching a movie is Alan Wake, and the Alan Wake soundtrack. There's some great cinematic style music, but there's also contemporary music or songs that were specifically written for the game that go in very well. Also, when you finish a specific section, a specific chapter, it will play a song throughout the credits because each section it plays credits like almost like episodic. And there's some great stuff. There's Roy Orbison is in there and some other great music. But also, I think they're Mega Man X. I love a lot of the Mega Man ones.
Mega Man has some really iconic music.
Yeah, it does.
Like there's a YouTube video of the top 50 Mega Man tracks, and it's one through 6, and then 9 and 10. Mm-hmm. And my twins will request that on a regular basis. Of this is what I want to listen to. We also have Houston Bogus from the UGF group. He says Sonic Heroes is my current favorite.
Oh, really?
I like Sonic music.
Yeah.
It tends to be. It's okay. I'm gonna be nice. Okay, so Sonic music is fun and it works in the context that it is. I do continue to enjoy, and I will enjoy listening on its own to the Metropolis theme from Sonic 2.
Yeah,
that one's really fun. Some of it can get a bit tinny at times. Particularly on Sonic 1 and 2, but like the Sonic series as a whole has music that works really well for that particular area. One of my biggest things though is if the music works in the game and then also separate, where I actually want to listen to the music because it's good music. That to meet both of those criteria is a very significant thing. And for that, Journey is right up at the top of my list. Final Fantasy VI,
any Austin Winery,
because it has a 3.5 hour soundtrack. Yeah, but like Journey works so well, and one of the things that you don't notice when you're playing it, but like there are sections that will be chopped, and like when you come up on a certain thing, the music will build to this, and I don't know how that even works. But he did it, and so the music for that, the music for Abzu, for Banner Saga, just Austin Winery is the king of orchestral video game music.
I'll agree. But one that can't be ignored in this has to be Zelda.
Yeah.
The Ocarina of Time, I think, the reason that I like Ocarina of Time and the reason that I keep mentioning it is because so many of the themes from that were taken from the earlier Zelda, or if it's a theme in the later Zelda, it's probably from Ocarina.
It's a version of the Ocarina, because they were able to expand the soundtrack so much. What a hot beat. Owen mentioned that one. He has Final Fantasy VII, Journey, Life is Strange. That's a good one because it has a lot of like the ambient tracks, and then there's also like some music tracks. Like there's a scene where they're driving in a truck back to Chloe's place, and they're just sitting there and they're kind of listening to the radio, and it's the kind of music that I would picture during, like, I never had a time in my life when I discovered time traveling powers, but like
spoilers for
the beginning
Life
of
is Strange.
The beginning of she has powers. That's what, first 20 minutes of the game.
Okay,
it's fine. It's fine. Don't yell at me, please. But yeah, like it's music that works because it fits the tone and the mood and it fills out the characters. Because it's like, oh yeah, they're listening to this, therefore not like pigeonholing them or anything, but the music that you listen to does have a lot to do with who you are, and that was something special that brought me closer to the two of them.
Sure.
And then he also mentioned the Ocarina of Time because Ocarina of Time is outstanding. Yeah.
Let us know. Tweet to us at TWIOCH and write to us on Facebook and everything. Let us know what your favorite soundtracks are from video games.
Alex Cheech, he said Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy VIII, and Skyrim. Skyrim has some really good stuff.
Skyrim is beautiful.
And Final Fantasy VIII has one of the best love themes of any game that I've ever played. Eyes on You by Fei Wong is outstanding, and the way that they actually, because they have a singer,
incorporate that into
because they have a singer in game, and that poor old cripple boy, he'll be fine. So yeah, tell us what your favorite soundtracks are. Hit us up on Twitter, put it in the comments. Just let us know what your favorite music soundtrack is to listen to. Also, shout out to Smooth McGroove, because those acapella covers are really amazing. I mentioned earlier my feel good playlist of YouTube stuff.
He's on there.
The very last one is the Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Dun, da, da, da. Like I just get in and jam with it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wonderful.
So good.
So yeah, check that out, and then check out the full remix of the Final Fantasy VI soundtrack by the OC Remix people.
Yes.
It's orchestral and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Totally worth your time.
Let us know your favorites, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.